Rhyolite, The True Story of a Ghost Town by Diane Siebert. Woodcuts by David Frampton. Rhyolite, The True Story of a Ghost Town by Diane Siebert. Woodcuts by David Frampton. In the desert, out of sight, rests the town of Rhyolite, where back in 1904, two prospectors in search of ore unloaded from their burros' backs their shovels, picks, supply-filled packs, and digging watched their dreams unfold. Eureka! They discovered gold! They danced for joy, they laughed and yelled, amazed at what the desert held. The ore, it seemed, was everywhere. So filled with hope, this lucky pair decided on a piece of ground where they could mine what they had found. While from a distance, wild and free, the coyotes saw what coyotes see. But when the partners staked their claim, word traveled fast, more people came to mine the earth, to sweat and toil, extracting gold from rock and soil. Soon families and their friends arrived, a little town was born and thrived, its population growing fast, amid a desert harsh and vast. Investors watched this booming town and shrewdly laid their money down, financing projects, funding schemes of those whose hearts were heaped with dreams. And oh, these people's dreams were grand, for as they gazed upon the land, they mapped and measured, taking stock of wealth beneath the volcanic rock. This rock was known as Rhyolite. So with its future looking bright, the town was named, and as it grew, the people made their dreams come true. They piped their water in from springs, and with the life that water brings, they built their buildings wall by wall, built their homes, hotels, the Union Hall, erected phone and power lines, and excavated 50 mines, while under wide Nevada skies the coyotes watched with laughing eyes. They watched the town expand each day, a transformation underway, as tracks were laid and trains rolled through, as engines groaned and whistles blew, as wheels and hooves and human feet all made their way down Golden Street, as people opened shops and stores, a fancy bank with marble floors, and pooled their skills and funds to build a schoolhouse that was quickly filled. 3 papers printed all the news, the restaurants served up steaks and stews, while 50 woolly wild saloons were filled with triplers, stock, and tunes. Each week more buildings lined the streets, an ice cream parlor served up sweets. The opera house rang out with song, and townsfolk now 10,000 strong enjoyed their socials and their sports, the symphony, the tennis courts, 3 lovely pools where they could swim, and churches built for prayer and hymn. While in the hills where coyotes go, the coyotes knew what coyotes know. The town spread out on every side, and hills and the houses multiplied. Among them 3 strangers' homes that stood, with walls of neither brick nor wood, but bottles brown and green and clear, that once held soda, wine, and beer. The year was 1906, and with their shovels and their picks, the miners found more veins of ore beneath the dusty desert floor. Prosperity was all around, the people heard it in the sound of booming blasts of dynamite, the rock that town of Rhyolite, where neighbors worked and slept and played, and stopped to gossip in the shade. Activity was everywhere, a party here, a picnic there, and games of whist and basketball. A little city had it all, including robberies and fights, and drunken brawls on Friday nights. Its jailhouse greeting rowdy guests each time the sheriff made arrests, while under stars so bright and clear, the coyotes heard what coyotes hear. Yes, times were good as they could get. The town was full of life, and yet financial woes that plagued the West soon put their boomtown to the test. Investors far away backed out, their actions based on fear and doubt, and one by one the mines shut down, a costly blow that stunned the town. The news was carried by the wind, the ever-clever coyotes grinned, the streetlights dimmed in 1910 to never come on again. The city water ceased to flow. And so, with cash and spirits low, and gold becoming hard to find, the people left their town behind. A city barely 6 years old, whose brand new schoolhouse, built to hold 800 children stood unused, the coyotes sat and watched amused. And as folks drifted out of sight, the curtain fell on Rhyolite. A town undone, its lifeblood drained, for years a stubborn few remained, tenacious, hanging by a thread, their dreams by 1919 dead. And when the air had finally cleared and every soul had disappeared, this mining town of boom and bust lay lifeless in the desert dust. And where it stood, sun-baked and blown, its walls of wood and brick and stone, now crumble at the wind and sun, keeping down what they've always done, while tumbleweeds forever roll down Golden Street, where coyotes stroll, past doorways leading into rooms that stand like open, sunlit tombs. But sometimes, when the night is still, and shrouded in desert chill, with moonlit blanketing a land of rock and alkali and sand, the voices from long ago begin to whisper soft and low. The shadows move, the music plays, while in their midst the coyotes raise sly, smiling faces to the sky, and laugh as human times go by. For in the darkest of the night, they claim the town of Rhyolite, a man-forsaken place that boasts of little more than graying ghosts. Author's note. In August 1904, in the Armagosa Desert of southwestern Nevada, Shorty Harris and Eddie Cross discovered gold. Over the next few months, thousands of people traveled across miles and miles of rugged mountains and endless flats, a terrain of scattered Joshua trees, creosote bushes, little water, and summer temperatures of 120 degrees or more, to reach the area and enjoy the wealth. Folks arrived on horseback and on foot, by stagecoach and freight wagons, and even in automobiles such as Pope Toledos and Desert Flyers. The town of Rhyolite was born. Soon it was one of the largest cities in Nevada. Golden Street, the main thoroughfare, bustled with activity. Tents and shacks were replaced by buildings up to 3 stories tall. There were 2 hospitals, 3 train lines with an elaborate depot, and more than 2,000 mining claims within a 30-mile radius. All of this was made possible by 3 separate water companies, an amazing fact considering the arid landscape, but understandable when one realizes that the groundwater exists beneath the Earth's surface, even in the desert, and that it sometimes, because of geological factors, finds its way to the surface in the form of springs. Several springs were located near Rhyolite, were developed by excavation and piped water to the town. One water company, Bullfrog Water, Light and Power, trapped 13 such springs, with a total flow of 1 million gallons per day. And so it was that Rhyolite boomed. For a few shining years, cash and credit were everywhere. But when investors, most of whom were on the east and west coasts, became nervous because of the financial panic of 1907 and stopped pouring money into the mining operations, the town went bust. In a matter of weeks, the population plummeted from 10,000 to 700. Homes still furnished were abandoned, businesses were deserted with goods still on shelves, and the banks were left with canceled checks and business forms laying knee-deep on floors. Fewer than 20 children remained in the new schoolhouse. Within a few years, everyone was gone. Accounts of Rhyolite's rise and fall differ somewhat, dates and statistics vary a bit, and some tales are taller than others. But one fact remains constant. The best laid plans of humankind, such as those for Rhyolite, often go awry. Take Shorty Harris, for instance. As soon as he and his partner discovered the gold, Shorty went to the town of Goldsfeld, 75 miles away, to record his share of the claim. He had roamed the desert for years hoping to strike it rich, but his plans for wealth and fame were quickly dashed when it said he wandered into a saloon, where he sold and gambled away his entire half-interest in the mine, and ended up with $500 in a mule. A few months later, that mine was valued at $200,000. We can only hope that the mule was a sound one.